welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., alongside Kaliko Yass.
Squash Squad in the building. I just give me my earphone. Do-do-do-do.
And it was a good week for Wrestling With as we interviewed Kenny Calix on Monday, Dave Bradshaw on Tuesday, and then Kylie Devon on Wednesday. Three very unique and interesting interviews. Cannot recommend them enough. Definitely go into the archives to check them out. This upcoming Tuesday, we have Mick Vainula, another wrestler from Estonia. We talk about that, his rivalry with Broda, Dylan Broda, his time in the Estonian military, a Super Mario match, and a hell of a lot more. There's definitely a lot of interesting content in that one. And then on this upcoming Wednesday, we have the owner of Setup Pro Wrestling Thailand, Pumi. Essentially the godfather of Thai pro wrestling, brought pro wrestling to Thailand with Emi Sakura. We talk about that. We talk about their new relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, bringing in some new titles, the people holding those titles. He wrote a book about pro wrestling, and we talk all about that and much more. But don't take my word for it. Here's some clips now. Speaking of which, can you tell us about El Hito del Estonian Thunderfrog?
Thunderfrog. Yeah, when I was younger, I saw him from YouTube, but I never met the guy. I don't even know who he is. I believe he lives in America somewhere. I don't know if he still wrestles or not, but yeah, it was a fun character, and I was like, what? When I first saw him, it was like really like mind blowing.
We never have the school that teach you to be a wrestling promoter, wrestling organizer, let's say. So with this, it's not only about, okay, I'm going to bring you to the New Japan Dojo, I'm going to bring you to the blah, 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 but it's a chance for me as myself to ask the experience, like the stuff or anything that I want to know. Let's say how to do the rundown to the shows, how I'm going to do the script, how to do the psychology things for the wrestlers, for the fans, blah, 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 blah. A lot of things that become like, how to say, it helped me to understand more about the business. And that is the knowledge that you cannot find in public, or you cannot find for any wrestling community, because it's going to run by a trust. Because wrestling is like the sport entertainment, right? We try to make it as real as possible. So that's why you cannot just go to a random person and ask, okay, how do you write a script for the pro wrestling show? They're going to say, oh, fuck off. No, you cannot do that.
Alright. And then on the 8th, we have Balian Aki. On the 9th, Kuya Born. On the 15th, Johnny McMetal. The 16th, Dylan Broda. The 22nd, Jake Lupa. On the 23rd, Raimi. On the 28th, Lord Philip Ryzen. 29th, Pixel. The 30th, Anarchid Ash. And then November 5th, Shameka. Alright, I think we're all done putting ourselves over. No, Kaliko?
We're always over. What are you talking about? Let's get to it.
Hell yeah. And It's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. And a very newsworthy week to say the least. But I think the thing everybody is talking about right now, when it comes to, the pro wrestling side of things, is Jey Uso winning the Intercontinental Championship. Um, I'd like your thoughts on Jey winning the title last Monday.
You kind of knew he was gonna win it. And the only reason I say that is because they don't usually put an intercontinental match on a Raw before Bad Blood, right? It was his own thing, and that's where I was like, oh, he has a shot at winning. Because if he was going to lose by some kind of nefarious means, they would have just stuck it in between the pay per view, in between the card of the pay per view, right? Kind of like how Braun, like they did Braun, right? Braun loss was in the midst of the pay per view, so it was there, but it was kind of able to gloss over, if that makes sense. This just tells me Jay's gonna be knee deep in his own shit to care about what's going on with the bloodline. Like I said, he was. I mean, it just kind of screams that because even if he does go back to the Blood for War games, Braun's gonna have something to say about it, right? Especially within a month away, because it's not like they're gonna have the rematch at Bad Blood.
I mean, they might.
They might, but
I mean, yeah, they got, a pretty stacked fucking card right now, but I mean, I feel like they could slip, a Jey Uso Braun Breaker a match on there.
I mean, slipping it. I'm trying to think how because you know, um, like we said, that card is stacked, so
Right.
that means that rematch is going to be on Raw. I think so.
Right. So, well, first and foremost, um, you know, really happy for Jay. Congratulations. Very much deserved to win that championship. My
Mm-hmm.
problem with it is that it could have been bigger. You know, it's one thing to,
Really?
yeah. I kind of feel like it was, they kind of got backed into a corner to give Jey Uso something
Why?
because if they kind of wait, I don't want to say if they waited any longer, maybe people would have lost faith in him because like he is like the most over wrestler they got. But I also feel like they had to give him something at this point. Like they gave him title opportunity after title opportunity, and obviously he failed. But they could have gave it to him in a bigger fashion against a bigger opponent. Um, it seemed like it seemed lackluster, more lackluster than it could have been if it was somewhere else rather than just a random Raw in September. You know what I mean?
Mm, what would have been bigger than that between now and Mania?
Um,
What would have been the moment where it was just like, okay, it's super grandiose besides SummerSlam
well, I mean, Survivor
or
Series never been one for major title matches, so I couldn't really say Survivor Series. But they're doing Saturday Night Main Event in December, And, you could definitely, WWE low-key goes on break after that. So, I could see them, giving him the title, as a nice little, you know, going into next year type momentum type deal. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. So then, second question: what would you done? You have done in the meantime to get to that point?
Uh, well, I mean, he's in the Judgment Day rivalry. You know, you could we're in October now. Well, a couple days
Mm-hmm.
a couple days to October. You
Mm-hmm.
can stretch it until December. Like it's only another like 2.5 months away. So between let's assume there's going to be some type of bloodline rivalry in there. Then you have
Mm-hmm.
the Judgment Day rivalry, and then you have the Braun Breaker rivalry. You could,
Mm-hmm.
without a doubt, you could say, well, he has this whirlwind around him. He couldn't win the title then, but now that all this shit is settled, now he could zone in and pencil zero in on Braun and win the title. And that's another thing. Braun Breaker only held that title for what? A month? Like 2 months at I don't feel like, yeah, they're they're building him, but you don't give somebody you're building like a month title reign and then beat him for it. He seems a lot less threatening now. You know what I mean?
I beg to differ because Randy Orton's first title reign as a heavyweight champion was only 30 days. So
I mean, that
I
was
what
more.
I say that to preface it in the sense that that reign, his first reign, the only person's first reign that I've seen it to where it makes them bigger than what they are is Gunther. Now, with Jey, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Now, what if, because the whole premise of Jey even going after Braun and Braun antagonizing Jey was the fact that he was too busy focused on Rhea to get to the title. Rhea somehow, think about this, didn't have a title. Somehow gets Rhea, he's getting Rhea, gets the title. You don't think that's a Dom coming back to be like, do you see what I'm saying?
I get what you're
It,
saying.
it's that intricacy that people are missing. People are and it's playing on the fact that people probably passed over that show, and now that Jey won, they're like, holy shit, I gotta watch the next one because I don't know what's going to happen.
So you're saying like,
So it's a little bit of the unpredictability angle plus Jey, and I heard Rikishi say that too, but to me, it's like, I don't think Jey cared that big about it being this grandiose moment because of the fact that he failed so many times that it was expected. To the point now, it's like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying?
right?
The moment is bigger because he failed so many times. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that was the moment. The moment was that every time he got close, his brother fucked him over, or he just couldn't be the bigger person. He just got beat by the better man that night. It wasn't something of his own self-destruction, if that makes sense.
Right.
It's just that you went, and the way that they took it with him, it was in the same gesture. You win some, you lose some, but you keep yeeting on. That's it, right?
Right.
So to me, it makes sense that he got it because of the simple fact, A, you didn't want him getting it at a pay-per-view or something to where it overshadows that accomplishment. That was the point of it having its own main event and it being on its own platform, its own moment to breathe in, right?
I got you.
So So Jay winning it at Bad Blood, yeah, it would give you a pop, but that could overshadow CM Punk Drew McIntyre.
I could see that.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's why they gave it its own thing. Like people and that's what I think, especially like if you look at I think they did that now when you see this card. I think they did that knowing that it could have overtook the card.
Would you? Well, we're gonna do the Bad Blood, preview later on tonight or today or whenever the hell this comes out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Looking at that card, and let's say Jey Uso, Braun Breaker, SmackDown in the middle of that card.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing, what we know now, would you have said who would you have you gone to win that match?
If Jay versus,
Braun at Bad Blood.
I think Jay wins by DQ because of Finn. It would have made sense then. See, that's what I thought was going to happen on Raw. I thought it would get prolonged because Finn would come in. Just because of the simple fact that, like, I did this to Rhea, so now I'm going to hurt Rhea by hurting you. Or costing you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or I mean, that made more sense. But now with Jay getting it, it actually kind of, it elevates him, puts him in the new, that singles tier that everyone was kind of hoping he would. He's got the girl. He's got probably the most dominant girl in WWE on his side.
Excluding Liv.
He's on cloud 12. Huh?
Excluding Liv.
Oh, Liv is not dominant.
I mean, she's
Hot,
title.
but not dominant.
She got the title. She got the Dom. She got the Tendy. She got the video games, and she got the group.
But the thing is that I think, I don't know, everybody's like more into Rhea anyway. So I think Jay having Rhea on his side with the title, it gives him that wave. He already had his wave by himself, but him and Rhea just makes that wave heavy. Right. And now you get to see the dynamic between them two as a champion and her kind of backing him in that manager / dating aspect.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is Finn. Finn could be trying to plant more seeds and so on and so forth. So it can go a different route. It just lays another layer in it because let's put it this way. Let's say if Jay does come home, then some tragedy has to happen on this side for him to come home. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's where if you're expecting Jay to join the bloodline, the OG bloodline at Survivor Series, between now and then, something has to happen so drastically to where he needs to go, okay, I just got to get back with my family. And at this point, I don't see it. I mean, I never saw it anyway when he got into this. It just wasn't going to be it.
Well, the other thing about all of this is, Braun Breaker and kind of where does he go from here? Crazy question, throwing some crazy shit to the wall. Could you see Braun Breaker joining Judgment Day?
No, I see them waiting till they get on Netflix to unleash what Braun Breaker gonna do in the sense of PG. I mean PG-13/rated R violence.
Okay.
Because to me, I don't. When he talks, I don't see the way he talks. I see him throwing cuss words in it. I don't. It feels robotic without the curse words to me, without him cursing or having that raw expression, if you will,
I get what you
like
mean.
more Scott Steiner than Rick, if that makes sense.
I think if you throw some, curse words in there, I think that cheapens promos. That's just my opinion.
I'm
Uh,
not saying he's gonna be cutting f bombs every now and then, but when he gets intense, I can see it. When he's trying to make the point of intensity, I can see it.
I get you. Right. We talked. I believe it was last week about Penta and Ray Phoenix joining WWE. We all but said that they will sign to the company. Now there are conflicting reports that they are not signed with WWE, that they are in talks with WWE. Penta might actually be more free than Ray as of right now, as it is un it is unconfirmed if AEW has taxed on injury time to his contract. He was out for quite some time with injury. Um, what are your thoughts on just this? It seems like it's yes, no, maybe, definitely, not at all at the same time. Why is there so many conflicting reports on this?
Hmm. I mean, I kind of figured they were going to throw the injury freeze on there. That's in general in wrestling. Period. I think. I mean, to me, wrestling's the only spot where they pull that shit. I've never seen no one like in the NBA where it's like, oh yeah, I tore my Achilles for 6 months. Now we just gonna freeze his contract. We just gonna add injury time to your contract. Like, wait, what? Like, it to me, it's kind of uh, it sounds like it's just a move to keep Ray from joining Penta if this is the case. I at this point we just on the stay tuned bandwagon of it all. And even if he does have the injury time, is he just gonna be stuck like Miro and stuck at the crib? Or, you know what I mean?
Right.
It to me it kind of like cheapens the way that he has to make a living. Because I think that's just done for the TV purposes. It ain't like they're gonna stop him from going. Let's say if he wants to go to GCW for a couple shows.
Right. But do you think Penta will just go to WWE on his own? And to have a bit
They're
of a,
related, right?
yeah, they're brothers.
Oh, but he's the motherfucker. He'll wait. Vatos wait, sir. They come as a unit. They ain't coming solo.
Okay.
Ask Chavo and Eddie. They came as a unit. I mean, they came different times, but when they hooked up, it was a unit.
So maybe spend some time in TNA. Maybe take a couple GCW bookings, AAA, whatever you want to call
Take
it.
a break, heal his body.
Yeah, and then wait. Do depending on how much time, Ray has on his contract. We shall see.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Another wait and see come to tuition is New Jersey MetLife Stadium will host SummerSlam 2025, a two-night event like it has, like they announced in 2026. Already doing it next year. Um, Ironic. I just find it hilarious that when they do when they do WrestleMania MetLife Stadium, it's New York, New Jersey, or just New York. Leave off the New Jersey. But when it's just SummerSlam MetLife Stadium, it's literally the same arena, New Jersey. We're in New Jersey. No New York, it's just New Jersey.
That tells me that they're doing all the shows in Jersey that weekend. That's why. When WrestleMania, it was New York, New Jersey, because they were still doing the Garden. Or was it the Garden? No, they were doing Barclays.
Yeah.
That's why. Because it was Brooklyn. They were doing SmackDown Raw in Brooklyn, and then just going to MetLife just happened to be there. So now that it's SummerSlam, they technically could just do SmackDown Jersey Friday, Saturday. SmackDown in Jersey Friday and Saturday, Sunday. That's about it.
What are your thoughts on MetLife getting another major event?
I mean, it works in the sense that it's right across from New York City, Manhattan. That's why it works. And I can tell you right now, they probably learned their lesson from Cleveland, because when nobody Cleveland, I keep telling y'all, man, they did Jersey because it was like, oh, they could sell it as Jersey because hotels in Jersey are cheaper than hotels in New York. B, most people are probably going to go to New York and spend a couple days there and just go to Jersey for the show, still have the nightlife to go to Manhattan. It's a combo that works. This is why big cities get the shit, because everything's in proximity.
And not
you could literally be in Secaucus, New Jersey, and just drive over the bridge and go to New York.
Yeah, and not
and be in Manhattan, just like that.
And not Cleveland.
Yeah, not Cleveland. There you go.
Yeah.
Cleveland was just like,
no,
depressing. Love this. Love the stadium's okay, but the aura of the city is
Speaking of aura, Alexa Bliss, it's kind of rumored and innuendo that she might be coming back sooner rather than later, but WWE doesn't necessarily have any plans for her right now. She gave birth in November of last year. We're coming up on a year. Do you draw her into the Wyatt Six storyline? Do you keep her separate?
No, because I don't think she was. Was she still? I'm just trying to remind myself. Was she still the Bray Wyatt on the job training before she got pregnant?
She was low-key getting terrorized by Uncle Howdy when
so she had the on-the-job training, and then she said she quit, and now everybody's trying to force her back on the on-the-job training.
I guess. I mean, it would. I mean, it seems like logical to do a Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss rivalry, considering their history together. But I also kind of feel like she's kind of done that. She's done the Wyatt thing. She's done that era of Alexa Bliss, and maybe it's time to
Mm.
kind of go on to something new.
Well, I mean, I think she'll probably throw herself in the Liv story, personally. But hey, it is what it is.
Well, she is Liv Morgan small, so
So I mean, I could see it happening, but
I mean Liv Morgan is medium, Alexa Bliss is small. I guess that makes Rhea large. I mean, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities for her to come right in and have a match with Liv. I mean, she is a world champion in her own right. Um,
mm-hmm.
but it's kind of what does it's kind of how she's presented rather than what she does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the how she comes back is almost as important as her coming back.
Right. And I'm just thinking, do you do the Wyatt Sick rivalry right away, or do you delay it and kind of milk it before you do that rivalry?
Just WWE is good at not rushing you into shit. You just let it be.
This regime anyway. All right.
So I mean, let it roll. Let her come back. Let her do her thing, and then eventually they'll get there. Don't do the AEW route where you just pop in. Oh, we're just gonna do this right away.
Speaking of which, MVP has joined AEW. He came to confront Prince Nana. Kind of talked trash to him about Swerve
Dancing too
Strickland.
goddamn much.
No, Swerve Strickland. And kind of telling him when he's ready to do business and take things seriously to call him, and gave him a card. Um, obviously this is prompting, possibly Bobby Lashley to come into AEW and form the Ouchie business. Um, I don't, whether they do it or not, which it seems like they are, I don't really see this moving the needle. It's just kind of okay. So MVP and Bobby Lashley's in AEW. Okay, well, I mean the fan base isn't really that connected, so it's not going to move
Mm-hmm.
the needle.
Uh-huh.
But what are your thoughts?
I mean, it was just meant to plant that seed. Honestly, it almost is like MVP came in there like he needs a motherfucker that's gonna get him back on his business instead of y'all run around swerving and shit.
I mean, I'm not going to say that MVP isn't great on the microphone, because he definitely is. And putting him with Almas was probably his death sentence, because they never used Almas other than maybe once a year at this point. So I'm not going to say that, it's not going to work to use MVP. I'm just saying that it might just not matter in the long run, because, it's not going to attract any new eyes that weren't already there to begin with.
Talking about for MVP?
For AEW.
I mean, yeah, but that's how they always do it. They're doing it as a because it was Grand Slam, so they're just okay. Let's just go ahead and make it a thing.
Of course.
It and plant that seed because they got so much. That's the thing. They got to do it. When were they going to do it? Because they got this Wrestle Dream still. Like, it's like all that end, man. They got to get there somehow.
I get it. All right.
So they just had to plan it in, and let's just see where it goes from here. Because I think everybody was expecting Lashley with them, and it didn't happen. So they're like, what's gonna happen now?
You're probably like they're trying to build anticipation because MVP was there, so Lashley is close to follow. No.
Right.
I mean, obviously, but is it going to matter?
Mm, it the only reason it won't is because everything is being clustered in the sense of what they're trying to accomplish. Because keep in mind, Mox and Brian has still got a thing. Yeah, they're still trying to figure out the Wrestle Dream part of it. So
yeah. Well, somebody else trying to figure things out is the Big Show. He wants to get healthy, get ready, so he could maybe have one final run in pro wrestling, and then retire. We reported like years ago that he wanted to end his career as Captain Insano from, I believe it was Adam Sandler movie.
the Water Boy.
Yeah. So.
I know. I trust me. I love that movie.
I mean, if that's how he wants to do it, great, I suppose. Question mark. But he did say that he does want, somewhat of a run, something like Sting had at the end of his career. Do you
Going out on top? Not the John L. Because they see AEW doing the opposite of going out on your back.
Yeah, I think that's basically yeah. If only.
That's what it is.
If only
they're like, oh shit! Wait a minute, I could win on the way out. That's a possibility. Let me get this retirement match.
If only Tony Khan was there, maybe like 10 years ago when Ric Flair had his sixth final match.
Oh no, man, Ric Flair. Nah, I read the book. Ric Flair was like saying he woke up in cold sweats because he wasn't gonna wrestle anymore. He's literally addicted to this shit. He has a better relationship with pro wrestling than he does in all of his marriages combined.
Which is ironic because like a couple days ago he announced that he broke up with Wendy again.
Told you.
Yeah. I mean, this is not necessarily news at this point.
Not really. First love is wrestling. Everything else is for the bullshit.
Yeah. Do you think they're actually going to give Big Show that, final here's your flowers, run? Or do you think that it's going to be maybe a disappointment?
Here's why I say no. Sting was a guy. He was one of the first big names that like popped up on AEW.
Yeah, I would say so.
As far as like in that legendary status that is not considered WWE being his best work.
Yeah.
So when Sting joined WCW, he wasn't seen as, oh, this is just a WWE guy trying to get a check, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It literally was, oh, he loves wrestling and he wants to do what he can. I mean, that's the perception everyone took it as. Vice a Mark Henry, a Big Show. Daniel Bryan gets the benefit of the doubt because people are more associated with him as one of the best indie wrestlers ever.
Which is crazy.
Same with
like literally one
same with Samoa Joe, which is weird. It's weird they don't get that WWE guy stigma, but everyone else does.
Yeah.
But then again, they didn't come in shitting WWE either.
I mean, true. Yeah. I mean, Samoa Joe was just like fired like 10 times.
Yeah, I mean I mean, trust me, Triple H fired. I mean, Vince fired him, and Triple H rehired him more times than Ric Flair got married. But anyways, the point of the matter is that Sting is seen as, one, it's Sting. Two, he didn't have that stigma that even though he had a WWE run, people don't associate Sting with the WWE run.
True.
And that's why I think Big Show, I'm leaning to no, because he had a long ass run in WWE.
I mean, I feel like he's better known for his WWE work than his WWE.
He then being the Big Show, or being the Giant, in which the Giant in WCW had a fucking run.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giant in WWE, I mean, at least a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion. And you know what I'm saying? So, so that's why. And it was brief, but yeah, he had two title reigns as heavyweight WCW champion. So, and then he was the youngest at the time at 23. So my point is that from that point on, he was just known as WWE guy.
Right.
His WWE longevity overshadowed that spark he had in WCW. By Sting has had a minimum of 15 years in WCW, and then another 10 in TNA.
Yeah.
So Sting was already known as Sting.
Very true.
And WWE didn't enhance, as much as WWE didn't enhance Sting, they didn't tarnish Sting either.
Absolutely. Well,
so that's why. But I'm surprised Mark Henry ain't like, I'm trying to get back in this bitch and I'm surprised any WWE recently retired. Diamond Dallas Page, come on down, homie. Who else? I mean, Arn Anderson.
I think Arn Anderson is good with what he has right now.
I'm just saying, bring them all down.
But I don't think Big Show has like another run in him. Not necessarily what Sting did with Darby Allin, as tag team champions. I don't see that in his future, if I'm being honest. I could see
who the
him,
hell is tag teaming with that big mofo?
but I could see him maybe just having. I want to say just like one final match, but I'll be generous and say a final rivalry. So, maybe 2, 3 matches to say, I told the story, I started a story, I told the story, I finished the story. Who that might actually be with, I have no idea, but I guess, that will be that will remain to be unseen until, he gets healthy to have a
Mm-hmm.
match. Because I don't want to, speculate and say, oh, well, John Moxley, Daniel Bryan, yada yada. Who the fuck knows what AEW's, roster is going to look like in 6 months to a year? All these guys could be gone by then. The only,
I
the only guy, I could
True.
say, if he's healthy, that would be, a good way to end it. It would be, honestly, be Edge.
Brother. Nah. Because Edge is definitely WWE through and through. Christian has a better chance than Edge
So you think
going out on top.
So the Big Show versus the Young Bucks in a handicap match to end his career.
I mean, just give him Private Party.
If they're
Who are still on who are still on milk cartons, by the way.
That's what I was gonna say. When's the last time we've seen Private Party?
That's my point, boy. Remember when they were the Darlings?
I mean, in 2019.
That's my. Dude, they were the Darlings right along with Darby Allin. Come on, bro.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I want to say that there was injuries involved, but I could be wrong with that. But hey, Darby stayed a darling, and they went missing.
I mean, if anybody can tell me where Private Party is, APB for Private Party, please.
Well, I don't know why he wants to end his
Just
career as Captain Insano. Why he wouldn't just want to be Paul White, is beyond me. But to each their own. But like you said, Adam Sandler movie. Also Adam Sandler movie.
The Water Boy.
MJF will be in Happy Gilmore 2 as Gilmore's son. I mean, it's not a theatrical release, it's a Netflix show. Does this really do anything for MJF? Does this do anything for AEW?
I mean, it does something for MJ. I mean, but MJF being in the Adam Sandler movie gets him paid.
I mean, yeah, but more than that, does it get him exposed?
If he didn't get an exposure from the damn Von Erichs movie, there's nothing that's gonna change that.
I didn't watch the Von Erich movie. Was he obviously he was in it?
He was in it, and it was a small part. But that was my point. Like, if that didn't give him the exposure into acting, I don't know what it is.
I mean, on the opposite end of that spectrum, whenever it does release, Seth Rollins is in the new Captain America movie. I think that's a big deal for obvious reasons. It's Marvel. But an Adam Sandler Netflix movie? Yeah, I don't think that's gonna do wonders for your career.
I mean, if it was like Adam Sandler's serious drama, because his drama movies have been better. But him trying to get back to 1999 Adam Sandler.
Yeah, agreed. Alright. And our last bit of news, Darby Allin did an interview, and he made the claim that WWE is Taylor Swift and AEW is Slayer. Kaliko, You are a resident music guy. How do you feel that comparison is?
Wow. I mean, I guess they're trying to say that AEW, well, WWE is more pop, and it's. I mean, in essence, you can make the argument for you can make the argument for WWE being Taylor Swift because it's polished, it's mainstream. Kids go to the show. You know what I'm saying? You could see why they make that argument, and I could see why they made the argument that they're Slayer because Slayer is more like to be a fan of Slayer. You not saying it's cult-ish, but in-ish. It's more underground, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
Slayer is a group that's big. It's not Taylor Swift big, but that's the point. Taylor Swift is a big product because it appeals to all masses. The only reason I don't agree with AEW being Slayer, Slayer's been around since the 80s. Taylor Swift literally been around, what, a good 10, 15 years?
something about around that. I'd say a solid
So,
15 years.
I mean, WWE been around since the 50s, just polished itself. The one thing WWE got on them is time, but in that time, they also built roots to nostalgia beyond beyond um, beyond my childhood, right? Because prime example, people may love Slayer, but they're not taking their 6-year-old to a Slayer concert.
Nor would we recommend taking your 6-year old to a Slayer concert.
I mean, but that's my point. It's just like you'll have them listen to Slayer. You'll have them listen to Slayer and everything, but you ain't taking them to a Slayer concert.
Yeah.
I mean, Slayer wouldn't want you taking them to a Slayer concert.
Yeah.
So, so I could see why they're saying it. They're saying WWE's poppy and in mainstream, and I've always been the person to say it. WWE is the Apple of wrestling because when you think of wrestling, you think of WWE, and when you think of people, when people think of the wrestlers, they're thinking of WWE and WWF. They don't even name half the. They would even name fucking two of the companies that has happened in the tenure of WWE. Because you really got to be in it to be like, okay, I know the history of NWA to WCW to ECW. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's always
ECW is so
WWE.
cult like that. Like, I mean, you see what I'm saying? So I get it, and it kind of rings true to a certain extent. And this is why WWE will always be the king because you're catering to a audience that's bigger than yourself, and you're tapping into people's nostalgia to get them to come. Oh, gee, I don't know who this is, but I've been to WWE and I had a good time. I'm pretty sure my son would have, or my kids would have a good time.
I would say
Oh, gee, I've been to AEW. When I take my kid to go see wrestlers flip out the crowd, I mean, it's a given. It's just people's taste.
I would say that WWE is more like the Rolling Stones than Taylor Swift. I mean, a lot of people love the Stones. A lot of people, they're multi-generational. Like, you could take your kids to see the Rolling Stones, your grandkids, your great grandkids, and it could still be somewhat relevant. And I mean, they're still pretty relevant today. Um, and I would,
They are.
and if I would call AEW any band, um, I would probably call them Nickelback. Um, you know, not to say that
Nickelback?
I don't say that Nickelback
Wow.
doesn't have their fans, but they can be very they are very niche when it comes to who exactly likes them. Cause and then the rest of everybody just hates on them. Thoughts?
My only reason I know why they said Taylor Swift, because Taylor Swift is liked by kids. That's why. And they're trying to say, oh, they're just a kid catered show. They're not a wrestling show. They're a wrestling show that is more kid catered. And they just was basically, I mean, they might as well just say they're the Blues Clues of wrestling.
Well, I mean, CM Punk is the Taylor Swift of for grown men, so they're not far off. And probably that's why Darby said what he said. Um, but I gave my analogy. How would you compare WWE to music and AEW?
WWE is the Snoop Dogg of wrestling.
Okay.
Because they had their hardcore years and now they're having their granddad years. But somehow, they're, and the reason I say that because they go through all these phases, but yet they're still relevant.
Very true.
Even in those down as 2012, 2013 to 2015 years, they were still relevant.
I would say 2013 to 2012 to 2019, if I'm being honest.
Ooh, you gave them 7 years?
Yeah, they had between. The only thing that I would say, I would give them 2011 because that was CM Punk Pipe Bomb, and 2012 was CM Punk Give Me Respect. And I think the Give Me Respect CM Punk was even better than Pipe Bomb CM Punk. Um, so 2013 to 2019 sounds about right to me. Because from like 2017.
Yeah, 2013 when he lost the
2017
Ooh,
to like
2017.
2019 was like I dipped out for a while, if I'm being honest. I wasn't. It was they was not doing things that I liked or that I felt was relevant or interesting. So I was like, I'll dip out for a while. I watched the paid previews, but that was.
And that makes sense because that was when Roman beat Taker, and everybody was like, "Oh hell no!" So it makes sense.
Well, it wasn't the reason I dipped out. It was just like really bad storytelling at the time.
That was the reason why a lot of people dipped out.
And I get that. And then Undertaker came back like a couple months later and tag teamed with Roman.
Don't even get me started on that shit. But that's a whole nother argument for another day.
Well, okay, so WWE is
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. Who's AEW?
If I could put it in, who would I put AEW as? Jesus, because it's been only 5 years. They started out, the baby. And you're like, who the fuck is the baby? But anyways, who could I put it? And the reason I say the baby, because they started out hot. and then they fizzled out, and they're fizzling out rather, um, due to their own self destruction. And the only reason I say because the baby is a really really, and for most people who don't know, the baby is a really really good rapper. He had a hell of a year. I think 2020 he was on every track, and some through things of his own self destruction, he ended up phasing out of the mainstream rap music. Um, who else I cannot think of? I could think of a Cardi B. Started out hot, self-inflicting stuff, worried about everything except the storytelling. They worried about the flips and shit and the drama more so than the drama of being the Wild Wild West and anti WWE rather than focusing on the music, aka the storytelling. I mean, I could make several of them. I'm trying to think of a rock group that was like that.
Okay, since we're just on the subject, and I'm genuinely curious. What band is TNA?
Oh shit. Uh, damn. The band that keeps going and no one knows. Uh,
Well,
slightly stupid.
I mean, I know what they are, but what band?
But slightly stupid. And the reason I say it because slightly stupid is a group in which you have to know to know. Really good band. People know of them, but people outside of them that know of them doesn't know that they exist.
Well, that sounds perfect. I think that will conclude our coverage of the news. And now a quick word from our sponsors.
So
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low calorie, no sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off brands out there that are presenting low quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
Use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with WWE Badd Blood. It takes place next Saturday from Atlanta, Georgia, the State Farm Arena.
My hometown, baby.
And yeah, the show as a whole, I mean, it's pretty basic WWE formula. 5 matches on the card. Maybe a little bit higher quality than we've seen on these PLEs for quite some time. But the show as a whole, What are your thoughts on the card?
I mean, it's gonna be hard to pick a main event out of this, to be quite honest. You can make an argument why Punk McIntyre should be main event. You can make an argument Cody and Roman should be that main event. All in all, these are the matches I think. And people were like, why was that B show in Berlin? that that C show that became a B show because the crowd. Because this show is the show to set up Survivor Series. That's why.
Some of it, but some of it is blood.
This show is this card is the card to set up Survivor Series.
And I'm personally going to call it. I'm going to say Cody and Roman starts the night. Punk and McIntyre ends the night. I don't think you open a show with Hell in a Cell. I think you end the show with Hell in a Cell. That being said, let's get into it. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus Solo Coca-Cola and Jacob Fuck You in a tag team match. Who wins? Kaliko.
It's weird. This is interesting because it's like, if the Bloodline wins, there's no sense of them going back. However, I think they might. I personally think this might be no contest.
Okay. So smallest finish.
Because I could see it being a chaotic finish in which the other members try to jump in and save Solo from getting pinned, and it just goes all to shit after that, thus setting up Roman and them in the War Games. Also, it's going to be interesting when Jacob and Roman hit it on. I think that's the one that everyone's waiting on. They wait on them two to hit heads quick. So that, because I don't see Cody taking another pin. I don't see Roman taking a pin. I don't see Fatu taking a pin. And I damn sure don't see Solo taking a pin. So who's taking the pin?
Kind of how I saw it playing out was Cody and Roman don't necessarily trust each other, and they most certainly don't like each other. So, and obviously the Bloodline is a unit at this point, and they would take advantage of that. I want to say that Cody takes the pinfall, but like you said, Cody wouldn't be able to take a pinfall right now. I mean, you would just be repeating what you did at Money in the Bank. And the story really isn't with Cody. It's with Roman and Solo. So, and I mean, Roman, he's coming off the biggest loss of his career against Cody. Have Solo pin Roman. That's where the story is. That's what people want to see. So,
So you have Roman get pinned twice in 6 months when he only took 2 in 5 years?
Okay, I will always die on this hill. I will always go back to this. Who was the most dominant IWGP champion of all time? Kazuchika Okada. He lost that title. He dyed his hair red and started coming out with a balloon. And he could not buy a win after he lost that title for a good 6 months. So he didn't start getting W's until he got into the G1. So Roman's already at his lowest point right now. He's at rock bottom. He lost Jimmy, he lost the Wise Man, he lost his bloodline, he lost the Chili Peppers, he lost the table. He literally lost
the Ulafala.
That too. He literally lost everything. So, I mean, I don't think a pinfall loss is going to hurt him at this point. He's kind of already at rock bottom.
True. However, I mean, I can't see Cody taking the pin in Atlanta and Roman taking a pin where he played his alma mater, although he couldn't beat Georgia, so that's a whole nother thing. He called himself the tribal chief, but Georgia was the tribal chief when he played. But that's a whole nother story. I just can't see it. I see where you're going. I just think they hold someone taking this pin until Survivor Series.
Well, I can also see, Roman saying after the match, you wasn't a good tag team partner. Fuck off. I'll find my own. I'll find my own people to fight this battle. Which is, that will start, the Bloodline versus Bloodline story arc.
But somehow, I just don't see anyone taking the pin, because if you're wanting a certain person to come back, they're going to have to come back to cost that person to take the pin.
Who are you thinking?
The Rock. So if you're wanting that guy to come back, he's going to have to come back to screw somebody over to have them cost the match and take a pin. And I don't, unless they're pulling that trigger on that Bad Blood, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get The Rock at Bad Blood. I don't think that.
Right. So
I don't think he's going to factor into this.
To me,
not that much.
I mean,
this is how I could see it going. Roman beats Solo. Roman secures the spot at the head of the table once again. And The Rock comes back and says, you don't deserve to be head of the table because you let all that shit happen. So I have to take it from you.
I don't see. My question, I mean, maybe Solo's taking the pin. Okay, let's put it this way. If it wouldn't make sense for Roman to get the Ulafala back from a tag match.
Right. And I can't see them take Jacob Fatu taking an L right now, taking a pinfall.
Oh hell no, he ain't taking no L.
Yeah, that seems very unlikely.
The way they've been putting his ass this year, no, he ain't taking shit.
Yeah, agreed. So I mean,
it's just, it's either. So the only person that could take the pin, the only three, it would be Cody, Roman, or Solo. You can see Solo taking the pin because Solo's kind of like this chief in Mark's Clothing. He's already taken a gang of pins, and it wouldn't be surprising for him to take one more.
Correct. But what does that necessarily do for the storyline?
Unless the bloodline takes Cody out and he's on his own, that's the only way I see that happening. Cody, the inverse. Or Roman's just still pissed at him about Mania.
No, I don't think that would work. They intro Cody before the match, and then Jey gets inserted into it somehow. Kaliko?
Hmm. No, I'm just thinking it. It's a.
And we lost Kaliko. It's been a while since Kaliko has just died, if he was ever really here to begin with. Respawn. Wait, did you hear the last thing I said? It was that Jey replaces Cody in the match.
Hell no, he ain't replacing Cody unless they pull a CM Punk in 2008
When the
and beat his ass in the parking lot to where he can't go. But even then, I don't see Jey coming back.
I mean, Jimmy, if he's healthy.
Jimmy, yes. Jey, hell no. Jey too busy, homie.
Alright, so I'm calling it. Solo gets the pinfall victory over Roman Reigns. What is your final?
Ooh.
What's your final prediction on this match?
I'm going ballsy, no contest, due to mayhem and anarchy. Although my mind is telling me Cody Roman, I can't see them both losing.
All right, that brings us to the WWE Women's Championship match: Nia Jax versus Bayley. Who wins? Kaliko.
I'm conflicted, but I think Nia.
Yeah, I mean,
Nia gets the win.
I mean, she literally just won it, so it doesn't make
She,
sense.
I mean, we said that about Braun, but the difference is Nia has been. Actually, she's been good. Contrary to what people may want to think, this has been probably the best she's ever been.
I think that's because of partly due to the storyline that the story she's telling with Tiffy.
Which is a good story.
Yeah, but the story is, when is she going to put the knife in her back?
I mean, but that's women in general, sir. Oh.
Okay, but this isn't the Housewives of Atlanta, Kaliko. This is WWE. I mean, you know that it's going to come. You're just waiting for it to happen. Low-key, I kind of feel like Tiffy has to be the one that beats Nia for the title, if I'm being honest. The way that, she's treating her and abusing her, it just feels like it would be the right storyline move to do it. You know what I mean?
Possible. I mean, yeah. It would make sense.
But I don't think...
It makes sense.
I don't think Tiffy is cashing in on this particular night. So, Yeah, Naya.
But I don't see. I mean, but the only way I see Tiffy catching in is if it's Tiffy turning face, and I don't see Tiffy turning face.
Look, Tiffy's kind of already a face, if I'm being honest. She gets pops.
Her demeanor does not scream face.
I mean, a lot of, the top faces don't get, or their demeanor don't scream face. But people just kind of respond to them. And people respond to Tiffy. Tiffany Stratton.
People respond to Tiffy because they think. People respond to Tiffy because they think Tiffy's hot. It's not because they think Tiffy. Not saying that she can't wrestle, but that has a hell of an element to it. It's not like they're going when Tiffy's in a 1-on-1. It's not like they're cheering Tiffy.
No, they're cheering Tiffy. I haven't seen her matches.
So they're yelling, "Let's go, Tiffy!"
No, they usually chant Tiffy time, or let's go Tiff. Well, actually, no, it's Tiffy time. It's Tiffy time. She low key, she was one of the hottest wrestlers in Australia, so
she's the hottest wrestler in Australia.
She's getting those pops. She's getting that.
She's not the hottest wrestler in Australia. That is Emma, sir.
Who?
Emma.
I mean, performing.
Die on that hill. I'm dying on that hill.
I'm talking about people that performed at the Elimination Chamber event in Australia. Not, relevance of hotness. How beautiful they are.
Hey, I took that as a disrespect, sir.
Let's get into the next match. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. Singles match. Who wins?
Damian's been working to get to Finn. If Damian wins, Rhea's losing. If Rhea wins, Damian's losing.
Okay, so you're going either or.
So, I think storyline, this would say Finn gets the win. Because it sets up Damian being even more angry to get to him. I think like a JD McDonough causes in the match, a Dom causes in the match.
Right.
Although I think Dom might be more involved with Liv, so I think this is a JD McDonough. This calls for McDonough Carlito.
Right.
Which is, Carlito is essentially the Latin R-Truth of this.
And that's cool. No, I see that you can't give Priest what he wants, and what he wants is a pound of flesh on Balor. And it's just a singles match. This the blow off has to be some type of stipulation. Low key, I could see this lasting till Mania. But depending on what they want to do at the Rumble, maybe, Elimination Chamber be the last of it. Depending on what they have planned for Priest. That being said, I think that Balor's gonna win this one. It makes the most sense to me.
Yep.
Alright. Women's World Championship match. Dirty Dominic Mysterio will be suspended above the ring in a shark cage. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Who wins, Kaliko?
All this screams Rhea has the advantage, and that's why Liv is gonna win. Sorry, you gotta keep it a buck, son.
One might say it's dire for Rhea to win, but who's counting?
I mean, yeah, it's. And the reason I say that, because remember, they got their pound of flesh at Bash of Berlin.
Right.
Not the. And that's where it's like, do you see Liv really losing twice in a row?
It wouldn't necessarily make sense.
Right. So that's, you know.
Yeah. I do think that Liv does need more of a run with it. Other than, fantastic storytelling, Liv hasn't defended that title too much. I mean, she's defended against Selena Vega and Rhea Ripley in like 120 days. Two title defenses. So I do kind of feel like she needs a little bit more of a match run with it in order for people to take her seriously as, champion.
Well, the thing is not the fact that her championship run is not predicated on being the best champion. It's predicated on how she got the championship.
True. Which is Dom.
Which is Dom, and as long as Dom is around, she's gonna be the champion. And not to mention that the person who she beat for the title really wasn't Rhea. It was Becky.
Yeah.
We seem to forget that because the way that this went, you would have thought Liv beat Rhea for the title.
I mean, true.
Liv is there, and they still have to set up a women's war games.
Okay, so you're thinking women's war games. Oh, well, that would make a lot of sense if they did Liv and the Fuse and Lesbian collection versus Rhea Ripley and Damage Control. Because apparently Damage Control are faces now. Like, who the fuck saw that coming?
Not I, said the cat.
Oh, but maybe it's not Damage Control. Maybe it's Bianca and uh, what is her name? Jade Cargill.
True. Well, they're the hosts, so it ain't like they got shit to do. And may I say, WWE, really? Really? Bianca Belair? Y'all sent a Tennessee volunteer to the home of the Bulldogs? How dare you? A whole nother topic for another day. But with that being said, yeah, I could see them going in the War Games. And it's not going to be like a Raw SmackDown, so it could be Damage Control adding a Liv with the lesbian. Who said the lesbian fusion collection? Oh God! But it can happen. I mean,
it would make sense at this point if you're going to do Raw War Games, and especially if a SmackDown has the men's War Games.
true.
But I think we can all agree that it's going to be Bloodline in the men's War Games.
Which is a SmackDown-ish male War Games.
Yeah, very true. Alright, so we agreed Liv Morgan wins, Smar's finish, Dominic Mysterio sneaks something out of the cage.
Somehow sneaks his ass up the cage.
Yeah. Alright, then we have, what we're assuming is the main event. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Hell in a Cell. Who wins, Kaliko?
Ooh, this is interesting. I think Drew wins.
Ooh.
Seth causes Punk the match.
What makes you think Seth is going to be involved?
Because as much as he hates Drew, he really despises Punk.
True.
And Punk being, how can I put it? Oh, well, wait a minute. Seth has been getting Seth got his ass drugged out he got tsunami'd out. Never mind. So I'm trying to think this through then. Actually, here's how it could go. Because Punk is going to eventually get to Gunther. So I'm thinking either Punk wins, gets to Gunther, Seth fucks him over then, or Seth causes Punk now and it just goes down the line. Because keep in mind, before our guy tsunami'd his ass out, they were getting ready to fight.
Right.
So it's there for it's set up easily for them to fight. It's ready for them to duke it out. It's just a matter of when is it get started, and it has to get started from here, because keep in mind, Seth still ain't over the fact that he got cost the title by Punk.
That's right. I mean, there's no real reason why, you know, they just don't like each other. Like that's
I mean,
literally
honestly,
the
all
point.
three don't like each other, but both of them really don't like Punk.
Okay, so if Punk, what you're saying is McIntyre wins. So where does McIntyre go after beating Punk?
I mean, whoever's winning this match is getting the Gunther match.
I would say so, yeah.
So, so my thing is this: Drew has been spending the whole time trying to right the wrong to get to that point in the first place. And it seems more apropos for him to try to get the Gunther, considering that they had a banger that they didn't get the, they had some business they didn't get to finish, and Punk and Seth can start their journey to Mania, uh, to WrestleMania, because Seth is gonna allegedly be the heel in this, and if he's going to be the heel in this, it would make sense if he costs Punk the match.
Okay, so I feel like Punk wins the match, but it can't necessarily. Okay, let's say that he has a match with Gunther after this. Maybe Seth Rollins. Maybe Seth Rollins cost him that match. The thing I get what you're saying, and it makes like perfect sense to me. But I can't really see Punk losing this match, especially we have as of where we are right now with our predictions, we have a very heel heavy winning streak here. Liv, Finn, Nia, possibly the Bloodline as well, all heels. So I mean, the a face needs to win one match on this card, right?
Not necessarily.
I mean, not necessarily, but I mean, it's still you need to send the fans home happy at the end of the night.
Jey
So,
Uso, they.
well, we're sorry that CM Punk lost this match, but oh wait, what's this? It's Jey Uso. Uso, do the yeet thing, do the arm thing. Yes, you don't remember CM Punk losing. You don't remember this being a horrible night.
Yeah, yeet the night away. There you go.
Yeah. I feel like Punk has to win. It That's what they've been building up to. So that's kind of where they have to go with it. To your point, I don't see him beating Gunther, but I could definitely see McIntyre beating Gunther. And then if we go to Royal Rumble, maybe Punk wins Rumble, and then you get Mac, and then somehow somewhere in there of you get Rollins sneaks his way into the match, and then you have triple threat, Punk, McIntyre, Rollins at the main event of WrestleMania.
I think Punk Rollins is going to be a match without the title, because that is just about, they just straight up. See, that's the good thing about those three, because the title is not needed. Because at this point, it's just that I don't like the fact that you're here.
Right. And I mean, that's enough to sell tickets, but I still feel like there does need to be, you need to sprinkle in something new to keep the the rivalry going.
You don't need to sprinkle something new. You just need to sprinkle in a new perspective. And they have so many layers of perspectives to take. Because there's so much because at this point it's eye for an eye at this point.
That it is.
The whole thing is literally the Punk Rollins McIntyre feud is eye for an eye and everybody's going blind.
Just ask Rey Mysterio about that.
Oh yeah. Somehow he got an eye back. But
yeah. Like even like in comic books, it's like if you have regenerative abilities, but you can't regenerate an eye. Fucking Rey Mysterio, say that to Rey Mysterio.
I know. First man to grow his eye back after getting it popped out.
Yeah, must be a chameleon or some shit.
Shit. I mean, you know what? Maybe those things aren't contact lenses. Maybe those are different eyes. just different versions of his eye. Like, Jesus Christ, this motherfucker got like 38 eyes. But all right, this.
Alright, so you are going with Drew McIntyre.
I see all of it. I think it's in Toronto.
It's in Georgia.
No, it's about Survivor. Oh no, Survivor Series in Vancouver.
Yeah.
With that being said, it might be Punk. Because what better way to get Punk screwed than a Canadian screw job too?
Okay. So Vancouver screw job.
The Vancouver screw. I can't think of a word that starts with V. That
Vindictive.
the vindictive Vancouver. No. Oh God. I can't even think of it. I mean, it is what it is.
What match are they screwing CM Punk at Survivor Series?
You say what?
I mean, you said that they're screwing him at Survivor Series. What match are they screwing him in?
I think Rollins screws him.
Okay, but we're talking about Bad Blood in Georgia.
Oh, Bad Blood in Georgia? I mean, Punk will win. If Punk wins, he goes this. It could go so many ways. If Punk wins, he goes to Vancouver and gets screwed by Rollins. If he loses that night because of Rollins. The question is, can you hold all of that for another, October? 3 months to Indy? Could you hold that to Indy to see them at the Rumble?
I mean, I think you can. But, who is Punk wrestling at Survivor Series? Gunther?
He would have to wrestle Gunther. Because he's already made it clear that he thought it was over and going after Gunther. Because he wants the gold, sucker.
I mean, but it kind of seems like that Sammy is getting the title shot at Gunther in November at Survivor Series.
I mean, in Vancouver?
I mean,
man, he's having a hell of a time getting title matches in Vancouver. Like shit.
I mean, if they did Sammy Gunther at the show, I would say yeah, it would be more plausible for Punk to wrestle him at Survivor Series. But we haven't got Sammy versus Gunther yet, So
We had Sammy Gunther at Mania. What the hell are you
no,
talking about?
I mean for the world championship. You know what
No
I
one
mean.
gives a fuck about the world champion, man. I I get it. I get it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I get it. So then that means Drew would have to win. Because it wouldn't make sense for Drew or Punk to win and get Gunther. Unless they're doing it something like a Saturday night main event.
I mean that's a possibility. You have Punk waiting in the wings for the winner of Sammy Gunther.
You really think Sammy gonna beat Gunther?
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. We know that he's going to, but the winner of the match,
Thank you.
but we know that it's going to be Gunther. But, let him be in the box eating popcorn while, he watched the match.
No, doing the Bret Hart stare in '95, staring at the TV with his pecs out. That's how it should be done.
Alright. So, Punk or Drew, who wins the match definitively?
Oh, definitively.
No backsies.
Toss him. Punk won the first one. Drew won the first one. Punk won the second one. And he really didn't. I'll give Punk the benefit of the doubt.
Alright, so we'll agree. Punk for the win.
Jesus, I can't believe I've said that.
That will conclude our coverage of WWE Badd Blood. This preview. It's next Saturday, so we'll do a review in 2 weeks.
Which is another month of Guess That Rating.
Yes, and somewhere in there will be Wrestle Wet Dream that we'll be doing as well. I'm sure we'll have fun with that.
Well, Wrestle Dream's on the 12th. So, yeah, it's going to be an okay month for wrestling. Wrestle Dream, yeah, it's coming along.
Yeah, and then obviously Survivor Series and whatever AEW decides to do in November. Maybe get canceled, but we could only dream.
Damn. They're not getting canceled, man. Come on.
I'm just being mean. But of course, continue watching us for our reviews, our previews, and everything else. Thank you.
It's... Keep in mind, we still got Joe Hendry trying to get the TNA title.
That's right. Against Nick Nanek.
That's in October. So, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
It's turning out to be a
Who watches baseball in October? Let's all watch wrestling.
I know. Lee. Oh yeah, is Lee Ying Lee is in TNA too.
Who?
You remember the Chinese girl Xia Li?
Oh yeah, Xia Li.
Xia Li, there you go, Xia Li. I don't know why I said Xia. But yeah, Xia Li, yeah, she's in TNA now.
Good for her.
Yay.
And in a couple months, she'll be back on NXT TV. How the
no! How dare you?
Circle of Life.
No.
Right. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview Mick Vanula, and this Wednesday as we interview Pumi. And join us every Tuesday and Wednesday for new and incredible interviews. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Kaliko?
You can find me trying to catch up on all this wrestling at I Am Kaliko.
For Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I am James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.